Hello, I am Hatime Çiftçi, Associate Professor of Applied Linguistics. This semester, I have offered the course Sociolinguistics and ELT. So I would like to say thank you to Ahsen, Buket, Burak, and Pelin, because these guys asked me this question. So how can sociolinguistic and plus intercultural awareness turn into a social benefit? I think that's a wonderful question because that was the goal of one of the 3 projects in our course. So before that, I would like to talk about very little sociolinguistics. So sociolinguistics look at the language varieties or variation in monolingual or multilingual communities. So it actually looks at language use and its relation with social factors. It also looks at the relationship between language and the society. So there are several social factors that influence the way we speak, right? So these are age or gender or social context, our relationships, hierarchy, hierarchical status or ethnicity, regional factors, and many more, of course. So when we consider all these factors, both in monolingual and multilingual communities, these are influential and related to how we use language. So how can that type of sociolinguistic awareness, I mean, awareness of variation, awareness of diversity, diverse languages and styles, be helpful in terms of a social benefit, okay? I will talk about the outcome of sociolinguistic awareness as a social benefit at 4 levels, like individual, at the societal level, or monolingual and multilingual aspects. So as individuals, it is important to have this awareness because this helps or enables us to develop empathy for others, okay, or positive attitudes towards others. When we say others, we mean those who speak or who have social or cultural norms that are different from us, right? And in each communities, members of these communities have shared practices or norms or expectations, and language is one of this. So the way we speak might be similar in our circles, but some other people might have different styles, or this might be different even because of the gender styles, because of age differences, or we do have friends or neighbors or individuals around us with different ethnic backgrounds. So at the individual level, this helps us, like I said before, develop empathy and respect for others' values, or we know that the way people speak is not necessarily does not necessarily mean something negative, okay? This is the benefit at the individual level, I mean self-aware individuals, and as teachers, of course, as individuals and as teachers, we can bring that awareness into our classroom. So we can train our students, or we can develop content or materials accordingly to increase that type of sociolinguistic awareness as well. We can teach values in the classroom, in language classrooms, like empathy, respect, or diversity, or we can practice more inclusive language education. So these are at the individual and also a professional level benefits, I think. And at the societal level, there are many ways of, again, having or developing positive attitudes towards others, or embracing other groups or other individuals, or take, for example, immigrants, right? Immigration is something evident in all of the world. So at the societal level, it's important to organize, for example, days for immigrant kids, or raise awareness about immigrants, or other minority groups, the ethnic groups or cultural communities that are that have different social and cultural norms from the mainstream or the dominant group in the country. So again, it means in a way at the societal level or at the individual level, embracing diversity or having more inclusive perspective towards others and practice accordingly, of course. So again, when we think about sociolinguistic and intercultural awareness, we can also think it at the monolingual level or multilingual level. So at monolingual or from monolingual perspectives, we can think about dialects. So even in one native language, we do have different dialects, okay? Again, variation in pronunciation, in the way we speak, or according to the region we live in, we can adopt that dialect, etc. So it's, again, important to be aware of those dialects and develop positive attitudes towards those dialects, because these are our local values or local practices. I mean, many people living in Turkey have those dialects depending on the region they live in. So these are kind of the richness of the society. So why not to bring these into the classroom? I mean, why not to teach local practices, local norms to our students? Because this is also about the relationship between language and identity. So along with raising sociolinguistic and intercultural awareness, we should be teaching local values or local examples or local communities as well in our classrooms. So and at the multilingual level or from multilingual perspectives, there are people speaking more than one or two languages, right? Or there are around 7,000 languages spoken all over the world. So obviously multilingualism is a norm. So in terms of English language teaching, the consequence of this, of course, one of the consequences of this is having accent. So having accent means the speaker is actually speaking another language. So the influence of that language is also reflected in her second, third, additional or international language. Okay, English as an international language. We more recently, this is how we frame it. So being aware of individuals or can be multilingual speakers, this again fosters our positive attitudes towards diverse speakers of English. So, and this also brings the idea of focusing on intelligibility rather than having negative attitudes towards accents other than mainstream way of speaking. So all in all, sociolinguistic and intercultural awareness, the underlying idea of this and our practices accordingly is mainly empathy for diversity or embracing inclusive practices in language classrooms as well, or teaching English as a lingua franca or teaching English as an international language, because most of the English speakers are actually bilingual or multilingual speakers, and there are world Englishes in the world, right? So we can create content and materials to train our students. We can bring that awareness into our classrooms, and so that our students can become open-minded, positive individuals as well. And creating this positive environment in language classroom is kind of a number one thing. And like I said before, it's not only creating awareness, but also developing their intellectual knowledge base, because teaching them like take the languages spoken in Turkey, or teaching them languages spoken in the world, or teaching them, say, Maori culture in the New Zealand, or teaching them like those kind of different communities and their norms, and bringing these into the classroom. So all this, of course, turn into social benefit, because the outcome is becoming or having positive attitudes towards diversity, towards different practices. I mean, those who are different from especially the mainstream or dominant community or norms. I think that's all I can say or summarize briefly in terms of turning sociolinguistic awareness into a social benefit at the individual or societal level. So thank you, guys.